Ooh.
You have a ghost in the house.
I'm a ghost.
I heard a ghost.
Surprise! If I were a ghost, I would literally haunt people. But I wouldn't do it in a scary way. I'd just move their stuff, like their keys and things.
No, I think that you would probably tease them. Like you would comment things. You would heckle them. You're a heckling ghost.
Yes.
But you guys, I will heckle white straight men. That's what I'll do. Be like,
Yeah.
damn, looking good. Oh, marry me. That's what straight people say.
Hey, yo, baby. Hey, yo, baby.
Want to get married, baby. Okay, we are live.
Hello, everybody. I'm Becca.
And I am Kim Buckle.
And we are at
Stan Productions.
And welcome to another installment of So When Are You Gonna Get a Real Job? Thank you for joining us for another episode on this very chilly evening. Before we get going, we would like to warn you that this chat will probably contain some naughty words and strange subject matter. Tonight's category is Kimono You Didn't. We are relying on Wi-Fi and or data, so if we get disconnected, please do bear with us. That's pretty much all from me. Take it away, Gimbo.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
We're live on YouTube. Another interview, chatting to our next guest. And when you see him, you'll wanna be him, 'cause he's the fucking best. Makapan puts the pen to the page, write it down, then put it onto stage. Makapan wins awards with his shows. At festivals, he receives the standing O's. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the main stage of So When Are You Gonna Get a Real Job? Tonight's extra special guest is a writer, director, theatre maker whose body of work includes Kinders van die Wind, Secret Santa, Jack and Jane, Miscellany, Benji, and festival favourite Wasnt, which was nominated for Freshest Show of the Fest at the 2017 Cape Town Fringe Festival and won 2 Ovation Awards at the 2019 National Arts Festival in Makanda. And now he is officially a published South African playwright with his play Benji. And you can buy it and read it because reading is fundamental. Makapan is a sickening performer too, delivering a stellar performance in his own masterpiece, Wasnt, and most recently playing Andre in Caitlin Wiggles' play God is a Woman at the Artscape New Voices program. Our guest is also a documentary maker with 2 short films, The Invisibles, which is an important look into the lives and struggles of the homeless community living in Cape Town, and Sorry I'm Late, a film about the transport system in Cape Town and the people who use it. And now it's time to start our interview and let the best Makapan in.
What an intro, oh my gosh. Can we get you a Grammy, please?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, that was amazing. Love it.
Okay, so Terry, for people who don't know you, we'll play a quick little icebreaker, speedy fire round of getting to know you questions.
Ooh, okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, please answer these fast as you can. Okay. What were you like in high school?
I liked attention.
Okay. What makes you cry the most?
Licky Lee's music.
Okay, if you could only listen to one song for the rest of your life, which song is it?
Dancing on My Own by Robin.
Okay, what is a book that everybody should read?
Oh, you know.
Fast.
well, I haven't really. What did I like? Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. That is the best one.
I agree, actually. Okay. What was the last video you watched on YouTube?
It was the 2018 Eurovision winner, Netta. It was her song Toy. It's such a bop, guys. I don't know what you're saying, but the beat is so lekker. She's from Israel.
Nice, good.
Israel.
As well. All right. If you were a tree, what tree would you be?
Ooh. What are those skinny trees that look so fabulous? I don't know now.
A conifer? A palm
Tree.
Yes, a palm tree. Yes, like ooh.
Give me a surprise.
Ah.
Okay. Aliens, do they exist or not?
Yes, the Tilda Swinton.
Okay. Who is the most badass character on TV?
Currently, or just of like forever?
I know you don't watch TV that often, so let's do forever.
Okay, thanks. Well then, without a doubt, I'd have to say Arya Stark.
Nice. Okay. If you had a pet ant, what would you call it?
Lucifer.
Okay. I feel like that's just your answer for everything.
I just want to name something Lucifer. Thank you, Kim.
Pet ant. All right. If you had to smell like a fruit for the rest of your life, what fruit would you want to smell like?
Ooh, mango. Mmm.
Then I
What
would-
are we making me?
I feel like you could make money selling your laugh as a ringtone.
Okay.
I think if all else fails, that should be your backup plan. Okay.
That'll be my real job. Okay, thanks, Bix.
So
It's
it's
an interview on intervention.
Surprise.
first, can you tell us how you really are?
I'm actually very good, guys. Like this lockdown it has tested me, but it has also helped me be creative on a level that I haven't been in years. I've been able to do a lot of self-reflection and I've just like tapped into a part of my creativity that I have never been able to. And so I'm busy like writing so many things. I've two exciting projects which I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But
Okay.
press releases will come out soon. Wink, wink. So I mean, like, I'm happiest when I create, and I'm very glad that I didn't fall into, a heavy like writer's block type of phase. So yeah.
So do you think that if we weren't in lockdown, you wouldn't have been as productive as you are now?
I don't think so. It's crazy. I don't think so. Because like I said, it was a lot about reflecting, and like we obviously all have a lot of time on our hands, and so it was in in looking back. I was like, you know what is it that I want to do? Where are the areas that I want to improve on as a writer, as a creator, but specifically as a writer, and. And because I never had a formal writing lecturer. Kim and I, we didn't have writing classes. We just kind of went with what we saw and what came naturally to us. And so, I mean, I've been able to kind of use that up until a certain point. But I was also like, Terence, you need to, there's still so much more that you can learn. So I like spend my days watching videos. I've recently signed up to a masterclass with Aaron Sorkin. So I'm just trying to better my craft. And so that makes me feel very good and excited about what I can deliver in the future.
That sounds amazing. Hey, I'm so happy to know that you've like found motivation in a really difficult, dark time.
Yeah.
What did you have lined up before lockdown?
Oh, well, Oh, Miss Rona done messed up my plans. So I actually was gonna take a complete break from the industry. I I was going to, my plan was to go to teach English in Vietnam. I just wanted a year away, go and collect stories. So my plan was to teach for a year, and then for a year I just wanted to backpack, hitchhike, do hostels, whatever. Like I felt like I kind of stagnated towards the end of 2019, and I just kind of had to, make a bit of a shift, a big shift, and and yeah, so that's why I was really keen on just getting out and exploring the world. And I'd realized at that point, I always labeled myself an actor, writer, director, but that order's actually changed a lot. Where I'm now writer, director, and actor is now at the bottom of that list. And so it was important for me as a now, labeling myself as a writer first, that I needed to be able to create stories. And I felt a bit stuck, so that's why I was super keen on getting away. However, being in lockdown, like I said, that gave me some time to just really reflect on myself and all the stories, and finding stories and making my own stories within the confines of the lockdown.
So that was actually one of my questions that I wanted to ask you tonight. So I know that knowing you, I know that you go through various phases where you decide in the moment what you most identify with. So at the current moment, you're identifying mostly as being a writer. How does your brain work exactly? Do you say, okay, now I'm in writer mode, I've got these 3 things that I've got to tick off my list, and then I can kind of move on to the next thing? I can be a director, or I can be an actor. What happens?
So, I mean, look, I have a preference, but I mean, I'm all those things at the same time. It's just whatever brings me the most joy. If I don't feel inspired, then I swap it around. So, I mean, I was so fortunate to be able to work with Tara Notcutt and in God is a Woman, beautiful script written by Caitlin Wiggle, a great cast, and yeah, that was other than Barsom, that was the only thing I'd acted in. And it was such a great opportunity, and that really reignited the flame. And but then that flame died soon after, and that's when I realized, at that point I was like, actually, what I want to do more is to create. If an acting gig comes along, of course I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to pursue it as hard. But as you guys know, in this industry you have to be versatile, so I mean, the Vega can't be choosers. So yeah, so in terms of my process, were you asking, we're just asking about this, or we're asking about my process as a writer as
No,
well?
I'm asking, do you have to tick certain things off your list in the category in order to feel like you can move on to the next aspect of your career, I guess?
Yeah, no. Like I said, for the most part, my first few pieces that I wrote and created, I wrote myself and I directed myself. I was very adamant on directing it because I had a very specific vision. So I'd say the director hat is the one that I've worn the least, actually, but it's one that I enjoy a lot. I just haven't had that many opportunities in recent years. It's Fringe Theatre, it's not an easy avenue. So I so yeah, so it's not so much about ticking things off. It's generally just what excites me, what makes me feel excited in the moment, or in that phase of my life of the year. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, now that you brought up Fringe Theatre, because we've had our guests previously have been, I think actually everybody has been part of a musical theatre stream, apart from Garth, who only has gone into the musical theatre thing more recently. Well, not, you know what I mean. What did you think is different navigating the fringe scene? What do you think people who would want to go into the fringe scene in Cape Town specifically, what do they need to know? What are things that you've learned about navigating it?
Okay, I'm going to speak as though we're in a pre-COVID world, because I don't know what's going to happen to Fringe Theatre in Cape Town. But I guess what I've learned is, I mean, the more you can do, the more skills you have, the more abilities you have, easier and the cheaper everything will be. And like when you're creating Fringe Theatre, it's most probably also because, you know, your budget isn't very big. So you're trying to put out the best quality of your work, but at the same time, you also need to be aware that there are going to be financial constraints. So if you can design your poster yourself, if you can cut music, you know, and this is also why I think I also wrote and directed myself, so that I didn't have to pay a director. You know, the more skills you obtain along the way, I think it's the better, especially when you go to festivals, you know, and like you need to be quite hands-on, and you just need to be able to, you know, you can't be a little princess or a little diva, whatever, just sitting at the back barking out orders at a festival. No, that's not how it works. You know, you gotta be there, you gotta help the crew, you gotta help the Fringe staff, the festival staff people. And yeah, so I've discovered a lot of my creativity in Fringe Theatre because you have so little to work with. So you need to really, you know, you got to really be creative to really give the audience that lack experience. And I mean, I've seen some amazing work at, you know, not the Baxter, at Alexander Bar, you know, which used to be my second home at a place, and I'm so grateful for it. And yeah, and there was definitely a nice kind of sense of community with people with, you know, the Fringe side of the theatre in Cape Town, though could have been slightly better, more supported. But I mean, yeah. Sorry, I answered your question. It was a bit of a ramble.
Supported by people in the Fringe, or sorry, what do you mean by that?
Well, what I just mean was, I mean, you'd have, no, when I say support, I mean the general public, but also other artists.
Okay.
That was something that was always slightly disappointing, is that it just sometimes seemed that, you know, unless you were a Musa name, you know, you might struggle to sell tickets, you know, and that people weren't actually like trying to kind of watch new upcoming work and new artists, and being like, hey guys, we know we've been in this industry for 5-10 years now. We know it's difficult. That's why we're going to come watch your show, even if it's cut. It doesn't matter. We're going to show support. And like, I personally just sometimes felt that lacking a bit. I mean, I had a very like bad experience last year, 2019. I mean, my show Varsum came back. Well, sorry, when I say my show, it's not just mine, it's mine. My show as well as Toy, Diane, Alberta, and Herschel. Just want to give credit where credit is due. Herschel Benjamin. But our show came back from the festival, and Caroline was so sweet to open up the Arts Collective. Oh, the name changed. Oh, I don't know what's the new name now.
It's not the theatre art. It's still the theatre art.
No, yeah, the name, I think it's just theatre art. Sorry, Carolyn, if you're watching, Carolyn. But anyways, and yeah, so she said we can have a run there, and you know, I was feeling super excited. I had done Varsum already at the Fringe Festival back in 2017, and then where else did we do it? Where else did we do it, Kim? That was just that. Yes, that was the only Cape Town run that it had, and so I was really keen to bring it back to Cape Town. It had just won 2 awards, and I was like, okay. And I put a lot into the marketing. I always made sure to, you know, say, you know, 1-2 awards or whatever, and you think those things help. And one night I literally performed for one person. The majority of the run was average like 5-10 people. And I mean, I'm someone who's now, I've been going at it since 2016. My fellow writers were, you know, they were new, but people knew they were. I had Tara Notcut involved. So it's weird. It was very, I felt frustrated because I was like, I thought I'd cracked the formula. I was like, okay. Yeah. So at being a beginner in the industry, you know, you like, okay, people don't know who you are. So that's what I did. So I, you know, I put up 5 plays. And I went to the National Arts Festival. So I got a name. Then I got a director that people, I mean, Tara Notcut is, I mean, she's brilliant. Everybody knows who she is. Florida Cup winner, won multiple awards. And I mean, she's just brilliant and such a lovely person also. Love you, Tara. And so, you know, get her on as a director, have Detoy, Diane Alberta, who's won, was nominated for Florida Cup, who's been nominated at the Woordfeest, Get Herschel, also nominated for Fiesta, but yes, so all of us on the team, we all had like nominations and awards and great shows on our repertoire, and like still, so so that's why I felt very disheartened. I was just like, what more must one do? And it's not that the show was bad. I'm not going to toot my own. I'm going to toot my own horn. Yes, like I think Wasnt was a really strong piece of theatre. So I mean, if it was a lackluster show, then by all means I would understand. So working out that formula, I think was something that I'm still busy working out. But we will see how the Fringe landscape looks when things return. Well, don't know when things are going to return, but like 2021, 22, we'll see.
Did you ever ask anyone why they think it bombed so badly in terms of attendance?
No, I didn't reach out to people. I was, like I said, I felt extremely, extremely despondent after that. I mean, it was a very personal story. And like I said, I started with the Friday night. We had 5 people, 3 of which were comps that I sent out because I saw what the bookings were looking like. And the next Saturday, I remember it was still the Rugby World Cup.
Oh,
and it was a matinee performance. And we had a Fleur de Cup judge, one judge. She was fantastic though, but those of you who have seen Wasnt, I'm just like, it was a struggle. But I gave it my all and she loved it. She absolutely loved it. Beverly, I don't know what her surname is now. Beverly Bromett, I think. But she's a lovely audience member. She really engaged with me. But yeah, after that, I was ready to quit. That's why I was like, let me just take a step back. And that's kind of why I was like, go explore the world, get your stories. And that's, I think, also partly why I felt like I wanted to be more of a writer then. Because it's really stressful to be writer, director, producer, marketing. It's like I said earlier, I feel like I'm contradicting myself. Obviously, it's good to have those skills and to do as much as you can. But also, if you've been doing it for so long and you just kind of don't see progress, then it gets a bit, disheartening.
And you're putting like everything you have, like your energy, your finances, like everything that you are and you have into the show.
Oh yeah. I came back
like
from
for a week.
Sorry.
No, yeah.
Yeah, the finances thing was the hardest. Like I came back with a show that won 2 awards and shit ton of debt as well. So it's like balancing that scale. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
That made you sad.
Yeah, it is sad. And you and I, Terence, we speak a lot. So the audience, we go to shows a lot together. And one of our main, I think, it's disappointments in terms of the audience thing, because we go to shows a lot, and shows that are the people who we know are performing in and our community. And I'm not going to shade anyone, but the fact is that you go and you support these shows and you make sure that you say well done after these shows and make yourself known that you actually are here supporting. Obviously you want to support your friends, but sometimes we've gone to shows to be like, artists support artists. And then you think, great, I've just come to your show. Like, we've had a great interaction. You saw me. I paid like 150 Rand for your show. My show is 50 Rand. I've made it that price for you because, I want everyone to come. And then you don't. And you get so cross. And then the next show that they're in comes along and you think, okay, let's try again. I mean, we keep doing that. And we get so irritated with ourselves. But
yeah. And it's
artist is crazy.
I think it's a bit hypocritical, and this is, I mean, for those of you listening, I'm going to call it out, and obviously it's not everybody, but I think if you are in this industry, even if you are a student, you're part of this industry already, it is your job. You have a responsibility to go and support other artists. And I mean, and you can't tell me there's no in a pre-COVID world, there was no shortage of entertainment, of theatre in the city. You had Alexander Bar that had 2 shows a night. You had Theatre in the Bay. You have the Baxter that has 4 theatres. You have the Artscape complex. You've got UCT students constantly putting things on. So there was always something, and the attitude just very oftentimes was just like, I'll go now and then, or like I'll see, or I've got, people are so quick to, and this also goes out to my non-theatre people. People are so quick to spend, international star comes, find 1,000 Rand for a VIP ticket, go watch that movie, and Cinema Nouveau or wherever for like 180, and then you as a theatre friend say like, hey, please come watch the show which I've been working on for a month and a half, put my blood, sweat and tears in, and all you have to do is just pay 80 rand. It's 45 minutes out of your night, and it's just like, yeah. So,
But it's so frustrating because people are just, well, the first point I want to make is never expect of other people what you would do for them, which is very difficult to get over. And then the second thing is like, you don't want to have to beg when people can very clearly see that you've poured everything into this. And like my mom actually always says that like our careers are like bad boyfriends, like they treat us badly, not supportive.
Yes, Auntie Belinda, she's a very wise lady.
But we keep going back to it. So I guess this leads into my next question. What keeps you going back to doing what you love despite all of these hardships?
Hey, and you just said it there. It's what I love. It's what comes naturally to me. I mean, I've discovered in this lockdown as well, other things that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about. I'm good with kids. I can just say I love kids. I don't want kids of my own, especially not kids, and I don't want to necessarily be around kids younger than 6. That's where I draw my line. But that being said, but I am very good with kids. And like when I was at Waterfront, I was teaching kids as young as 6 and as old as 18 and in between. And I recently reflected, and I was telling Kim that I'm thinking of maybe, trying to pursue that as well. Because can I just say there's nothing that grinds my gears more than someone who says, oh, I'm going to do teaching just as a little backup. No, if you're going to be a teacher, you better damn well like want to be a teacher, because we've seen if you are a performer and that is what you want to do at heart and you go to a classroom, it's like, and we've seen it. All the 3 of us have seen teachers that want to be performers and the way that they interact with the students, because they never got to live their dream. And sometimes that can be a good thing, but sometimes it can also be a bit of a negative thing. And so I think for me, teaching really is a calling, and it's not for everyone. And I really feel like if you're going to do it, you need to really want to do it. And I really have come to the realization that I really do enjoy it. And I think I'm really good at it as well. I'll say that. And so that's something that I feel very excited and passionate about. I just diverted. What was the question again?
What was the question?
Why? Oh, yes. Why am I still doing this? Why am I still doing this? And when am I going to get a real job? It's so funny that you asked that. So once again, another project which I can't really speak on, but it's something very cool that's going to launch soon, and I'm going to be one of many creators who's going to be contributing to this platform. And we had interviews in the week, and I remember them asking me, and one of the interview questions was like, why is it important for you? You're a creator, you have a voice, and why is it important for you to use that voice? And I was just like, yeah. And the question hit me. I was like, yes, as a writer, I do have a voice. I have a privilege as a writer, I think. And if you have a privilege, you damn well better be aware of it. But also, in this case, use your privilege. And I always think back to Kinders van Event, my first play. Kinders van Event was a play about 2 homeless youths on the streets of Cape Town. And I was really inspired to write that play because my own father was homeless and we had a very rocky relationship. And that piece started off as therapy. It was just me trying to deal with some of the trauma and me writing monologues, and then, trying to also just not place myself in issues, but also, to try and, to in hindsight, after the fact, to try and just, I guess, for like a smidge, try and imagine what his life must have been like. At the same time, also, I've been working at Butler's Pizza for a while, and like the little corner there at the garden center, I I became friends with a lot of the homeless people there, and listening to their stories, I was just like, you know, we sometimes have this perception of homeless people and how it is that they ended up on the streets, and oftentimes people say, yeah, it's just drugs and gangsterism and stuff, and it's like, but these are real people that lived happy homes, they had dreams, they had aspirations, they lived in a house. I mean, they had a roof over their head, you know, things were going well, and then there are circumstances that are oftentimes just out of people's control. And that was the same with my father and his journey. And so I wanted to humanize these people and give them and amplify their voices a little. And it was so beautiful for me after kind of an event, after show, so many people would come and say, you know, thank you for that. Like, you've really like made me look at this person who's knocking at my window at the traffic lights slightly different. You know, I had a friend message me say he wasn't wanting you to give money to people on corners, and that he like now changed his perception. So that's the power that we as creatives have. And same with like Balsam, writing about the experience that happened to me in Stellenbosch and saying it's not okay. I shouldn't, as a queer brown person, feel that I can't be myself in this country. Yeah. I should not need to worry what people are going to think about, you know, how I look or how I speak. And using my platform also to rage about those things, and having other people say like, yeah, I hear you, I've gone through it, you've put it in a way I've never thought of. And most recently with like Benji, for instance, you know, I had a friend come to me afterwards in tears saying that him and his father had a rocky relationship, and after the show, you know, it something just went off in his head, and he made a connection, and he related so much to one of the characters, and he was able to kind of acknowledge that there is this hill he needs to get over, but it was something he had been suppressing for so long. And this stories like that just warm my heart, and that makes me want to kind of continue writing. You know, I always say I use my writing as a form of healing. That is how my writing started, was me just writing pieces about so much of my childhood trauma, and then realizing I can put that into a narrative form and just share that with the world. And so I feel like I have a lot of more stories to tell, a lot of more wisdoms to share, and things to figure out for myself. And and being able to create another person, it's so exciting. You know, my characters become people. They become literal people in my life. You know, I talk to them. They have their own psychology. They have their own thoughts and feelings and secrets. And I love creating. I do.
So I love that. I love what you said, that theatre is therapy. I think so many people can relate to that. And I love that you use it in your life as a form of therapy and as a way to kind of process things. And I really love that. Sorry, Kimby, go ahead.
No, I was just going to give him a compliment, but I don't think I will.
Oh,
sorry. I was going to say that what I love about your work, Terry, is that something like, you know, a topic like homelessness, or even like Varsum, you know, like racial and like homophobia, it's such just the word is so heavy, you know, people will hear it and they'll go, oh, you know, like it feels heavy, but you have this gift of taking serious things and lifting them up with heart and compassion. And it's amazing. Like all of your work, it's so like well done, because it's got such a light spirit, but you handle it with such care and with such ease that it hits people so much harder, because you like striking an arrow into their heart. And I think that's like your power, is that you like a little Cupid.
Oh, thanks, Kimmy.
That is your whole year. So you need to just
I should write this down. No more compliments from. Okay.
So, Terry, my next question is, I don't know if it's a heavy one, I don't know, but do you think that you've found your place in the industry? Do you think that there is a place for you in the industry, and do you think that you've found it?
No, on the contrary, I feel like I'm going through a renaissance of sorts. You know, last year I was in flight mode, quite like literally I was about to fly away. And in this lockdown, you know, with writing, as I mentioned before, you know, I never had any formal writing training. What I learned was based on the shows that I watched and, you know, theater shows, TV shows, movies, and just, you know, writing things myself. And there was a phase where I was comparing myself a lot to certain peers, and like, I mean, we have some fucking amazing, talented people in this bloody city, I tell you. And so, you know, you go to the Alexander Bar and you watch, you know, a Louis Full play or Philip Rademeyer, you know, two of my favorite local writers, and I'm just like, oh, how do you guys do this? What? How do you think of these amazing things? Damn it, the dialogue is so good. And you know, and like as artists do, as people do, you compare and so for a while I felt inadequate. And then what would happen, because also I was already suffer from imposter syndrome. So I was like, look, you are still upcoming, you're still getting there, you've accomplished things, dude. Don't be too hard on yourself. But you know, it's hard sometimes, you know, that no matter how much people tell you you are worth it and you are good and you are talented, if you don't believe it yourself, then those words mean nothing. And it took me a while to get to a point to kind of have faith in myself and in my work, and not on a cocky or arrogant type of level, but just to be like, you actually have abilities and you now need to just finesse them. And so yeah, so for a while I was very much in the space of, you know, oh shit, there's still so much more I need to learn about writing. Oh my gosh, shouldn't call myself a writer. Oh shit, I'm such an amateur. These people were laughing at my work. And this lockdown shift, the shift that happened was I was like, okay, Terence, you don't feel, you feel like that there's elements in your writing that are lacking. Okay, what are we going to do about it? Huh? Because there are solutions. Okay, cool, great. So your vocabulary is also great. Cool. Write every day, find a new word in the bloody dictionary, write a little monologue. Cool, boom, right. Okay, let's watch some YouTube videos, tutorials. You know, there are options. And so it's been growing and growing and building, and so that has just like fueled a flame that I've never had before. And so I'm now branching out into film, which is very exciting. I have already, so I'd written a few films for City Varsity Friends, but like a lot of the like videos that I'm watching and the masterclass, like I said, you mentioned earlier, Aaron Sorkin one, is about screenwriting, and that's now a new avenue that I'd like to get into, which really excites me. So yeah, I can't say I don't know. Just I haven't found my place, because I feel like I am like theater writer now, but can become movie writer, but like to be series writer as well, but also like to be an actor and a possible documentary filmmaker. And it's just like, I have so many hats that I want to wear, and I'm just, rather than being like afraid and feeling like, you know, it's a bit too much, I'm just like, okay, cool. Well, if you don't feel good, if you don't feel lacquer with this hat, learn more, go, push, and hustle. So that's where I'm at.
The more you're talking, I'm just so proud of you, dude. Like, everything you're saying just literally makes me so happy to know that you're going and you're finding your groove and you have purpose. I'm really, really proud of you.
Thanks, Bix.
Imposter syndrome is like a serious thing. I think any artist out there,
Ooh,
you know, it's a feeling of fear that someone's going to knock on the door and be like, hey, stop it. You're not a writer. Not allowed. You're under arrest, you know?
Yeah. It
doesn't make any sense. It's completely illogical, but you do. And instead, it's so good, because instead of like, saying, oh, well, I can't, so I won't. That actually like taking control of it, it's actually amazing.
Yeah. Took a while, but yes, did.
Very mature, Terry. So can you tell us what a typical day in lockdown looks like for you, now that you've got all these very adulty things to tick off your list every day?
Well, it's a good thing you asked me this question now and not a few months ago, because I actually have quite a good structure that I'll gladly share with you guys. So my body clock is at 6. I wake up at 6 o'clock. And first thing I do is then I make my bed, and then I meditate, and then I do my admin, and then 8:30, my admin, and then 8:30 is morning exercise time, and then brekkie, and then after that I will then start with During the admin, I would have now sat down and figured out what I needed to do for the day. So, am I writing a chapter on this thing? Am I doing character analysis on this thing? Am I applying for this thing? And I do that throughout the day. And then at 5:30, I like to do a nice exercise class with the very talented Ianthe, Anisha.
Yante
Africa. Oh my gosh, yeah. Woo, guys, I'm gonna be murdered. Too much sleep tonight. Okay, quick little shameless plug, guys. My friend Ianthe really does the most amazing classes, fitness classes. It's like, no, it's so good, guys. It is so good. I was just gonna do a trial period to support, because gotta support your homies. And 4 weeks later, here I am. It's like an hour. It's cardio, it's abs, it's, you use weights and you sweat and you feel so lekker afterwards. It's 90 Rand for 3 classes a week, and you have access to the archive. So you can basically pay 90 Rand for 7 classes a week. It's called Be Fit by Ianthe Africa. Anyways, that little ad is done. So that's what I do then around 5:30, and then I eat. And then after I've eaten, I become like a beached whale. Then I can do nothing. I can do fuck all. So then I literally just watch YouTube videos, and that's my entertainment time, where I just chill and where I don't procrastinate.
Wow. When you started talking, it looked like Kim's mind was blown. She was like, what's happening? Who is it?
Excuse me, I have to report a missing person. There's a missing person.
You pandemic knew me.
Wow, Terry, I feel like you're so mature. I don't understand what is going on.
Yes, Queen. The wonders of a lockdown.
We can definitely say that lockdown has been a huge positive for you. It's definitely changed who you are, who you would like to be, and you're going for that. Well done.
Thanks,
I could have locked you away for years ago. Back in a closet.
I know. Could have been in Hollywood by now already, damn it.
Damn, Terry. Oh, man.
Fine.
Can you, in the beginning of lockdown, before you found this really cool groove, did you have any embarrassing days? What's something embarrassing you can tell us that you can't believe you did?
This is not really embarrassing, but yeah, I used, and this just shows the 180, guys. I used to sleep till 12. I used to sleep until 12. That was around the March, April part. It wasn't pretty, It wasn't nice. And then I'd get up and I just feel lethargic, and then I just did nothing much, and then by 7 o'clock I was like, I'm tired, back into bed. Well,
Sure.
not nice.
Yeah, sounds.
Not really that embarrassing, but very lazy.
It's not embarrassing.
Yeah, a smidge. I think my body was just I think everybody was just at that point still trying to figure out what is going on.
No, you see, I'm the opposite of what you've just said.
Oh, okay.
I remember this. When we started lockdown, I would send you a message and be like, oh, Terence, let's talk about something. And then at 12 o'clock, I'd get a message being like, oh, sorry, dude, only woke up now. And I'd be like, come on, Terence, you got to get control of your life like me. I wake up at this, and I was so on it. I was like, this lockdown I'm going to be the boss of this lockdown.
You were very good.
I was. And now I sleep. If I wake up at 11, I'm like, oh, that's nice and early. Go downstairs, have coffee. I don't even eat, because I'm like, do I really have the energy to put muesli in a bowl and then take yogurt and put it on? I just can't do it.
The fact that eating muesli is already a great achievement for you.
Thank you. Although I do grate chocolate over it.
Damn.
I take a slab and I just grate it over the bowl.
You know what? You've always had a fast metabolism, so it's all right, girl. Treat yourself.
Thank you.
Do you think, though, Kim, that perhaps our next scheme or segment of work should be us completing exercise classes?
Okay.
Just us videoing us doing.
I think it's a good idea. We can do because we've got so many friends doing stuff. We can do Iante's one. We can do Robin, Sinead.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Do some advertising and it's okay. It's not that bad exercise because Kim can do it. Fuck, anyone can.
Exactly. They should be paying us, actually.
Yeah.
Hashtag influencers.
So we've had 2 questions come in from lovely Tara, and she says, you've got to write a show for Viola Davis and Glenn Close together. What is the first idea that pops into your brain?
Space fighters, badass alien assassins that are being sent off to bloody Jupiter to go and destroy the aliens. They actually retired, but they were the best of the best. And then people are like, we need them, and we need Deborah and Susan. And then they go fish Deborah and Susan, and they go and beat those aliens' asses.
When bloody Jupiter. That sounds amazing. The next question is, what genre you'd love to try your hand at?
Horror, without a doubt. And especially when it comes to theatre, I feel like it becomes a lot more. You have to be very clever in order to succeed with a horror on stage. So yes, that is a challenge that I'm up for one day.
What do you mean? Explain what you saying. Why do you have to?
Well, I feel like in film, any horror movie, you've got your suspense music, you've got your jump scares, you've got all those tropes and those continuities, and it's quite easy to give someone a bit of a scare, but not so much in a standard theater. You have to really be well choreographed, well organized, everything has to be so well planned. But think of the only one I've actually ever seen was Woman in Black. And that for me, and I'm not sorry to all the Women in Black fans out there, it was a bit mad. And I watched it in London. I was very disappointed. It was cheap scares, but I was like, you can do so much more, without a doubt. So yeah, in order, I think, for something to be really effective to the point where the audience is like, what's going to happen next? Your whole creative team needs to be on top of it. And so much planning will have to go into it. But someday, one day.
I reckon what you could probably do if you want to get people really afraid is put a comedian on stage and be and put a sign that says there will be audience participation. That's all you need, and the audience will be like, no, not me. And then you just have the person kind of look at and be like, oh no. Yes, as people hate that shit.
Very true. Yeah.
That is so true.
Actually, that brings up when I came to watch your show, Terry, and we were asked to draw faces on the balloon. I wanted to die when I realized everyone had drawn real faces and I had drawn a kitty cat face, and I was like, oh, Terry, please don't pick me. Please don't pick my balloon.
Listen. Let me tell you a story about that. So at the Fringe Festival, I don't know where the communication went around, but yeah, we were lost in translation there. So the hostess, the chick at the door, was from the festival, and I don't know if she just didn't get the instruction, but I then have to go in to the audience. Okay, so let me just go explain to the audience. So in Varsam, each audience member got a balloon. They had to draw a face on it and write their names on it. I would use the balloon then as a mask to tell stories and monologues and poems within the play. So it was very important that there is a name and a face on the balloon. And this hostess lady hadn't told the audience to draw faces, and also told them to just write any names of people. So yeah, I'm doing the serious poem, and I'm like, en toe sê Hendrik Kronkel Klomp Kop Domp dat. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, and I'm having to remain focused, and I'm having to look in the audience for where the next balloon is, because also the balloons were linked to race and gender and sexuality, and so I'm like, and now I'm already like, oh my gosh, this next balloon, what is it going to say? What's going to be drawn on it? And it was like, panic.
That sounds like my worst nightmare. Have you ever had like a terrible corpsing moment in your life as an actor?
No, I've not had a corpsing moment, but I had a Cottonmouth moment in my one-man flippant show. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was so bad. I was like doing my monologues like this, and it was like 10 minutes, and it was like my first show at Makanda. It's 9 o'clock, guys, in Grahamstown. It's so cold. And I'm like shirtless, and I'm like lying there while the audience is walking in, and I'm like laying there, like getting shivers. And also, it was such a rush because they give you 2 hours to move in. We just finished plotting. I was so flippant stressed. The only thing I didn't have to worry about was my lines. This is why I like storing my own things and writing them, is because I can so much change just so. As long as I just make sure that the cue at the end of the thing is ready for the lighting person. Well, Kim was there, so Kim knew already how to deal with me just changing lines.
Out.
Read mine.
So anyways, yeah, so I had such bad Cottonmouth, and eventually I managed to get it back. But luckily, Varsum is that type of show. Like I said, I broke the fourth wall a lot. I was like, but after that, I was like, fuck it. I'm putting a bottle of water in my box. Luckily, I never had to use it, but I was like, guys, I'm going to go into this box, take a Mobile Aqua and drink on stage. But yeah, that to me as an actor is my biggest fear, is Cottonmouth. And it's happened to me before. Yeah.
Lucky Kimbo was there to help you out. Very lucky that she's so in tune with your brain.
I must say though, as a theatre maker, because Terence was obviously the writer with the other two, but then because he'd done the show before, had a lighting plot laid out, so we just had to replicate it with the festival lights. But in any festival, I think we had basically a general wash of LEDs, and we had like three colors, and then we had like 4 lights. That was it. That was literally it. And like, that's what you have. And then Terence is that person. He's like, no, I need like a street lamp effect. And I'm like, can you see that there is no light for a street? There is no light. He's like, yeah, it's just, I need that to happen. And then he'll stand there and be like, this is where it needs to be. And then I'm like, it's impossible.
So basically you're telling me that Terence just asks way too much of every single...
A diva.
No! I'm a team player, guys, but sometimes I want what I want.
It's good. That's why you win an award.
Exactly. I was going to say, you didn't shiver there for nothing. You went and you...
Thank goodness all the judges only came after that.
So, Terry, I want to ask, you said earlier that you haven't had as much experience as a director. Do you prefer directing your own work as opposed to other people's work?
Oh yes, definitely. But it's also a bit of a cheat because there's a lot of work that I basically didn't get to skip. Because if I direct my own work, I don't need to analyze the text because I created it. I don't need to kind of tear every single small thing apart. So yes, I have directed other people's work, but it is a bit challenging. I'm not going to lie. So my strength with directing definitely lies with my own work, and the pieces that I've directed myself were received very well. So yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me what is the absolute worst show in the world?
Becca, I can't say. What do you mean? Like
musical theatre show that you just like can't even understand why it exists.
Oh, all of Rodgers and Hammerstein's work. I'm sorry. God, if the first musical they bring back to Cape Town again is Sound of Music, I'm telling you guys, I'm gonna boycott.
For the fifth time.
All my friends that were in the show, you guys were absolutely fantastic. But I'm like, guys, there's so many amazing other musicals. Stop catering for the Otanis.
I have one more challenging question for you that I think that you might be it might make you a little bit angry, but
go.
Okay. So hypothetically, someone offers you a ridiculous amount of money, okay, in terms of budget, and they say, okay, Terry, we know that your speciality is not musicals. However, we're going to ask you to head up the writing team for this musical about sloths. What do you say?
I hate you. I hate you.
No.
I will say yes. I will take that challenge and I will make sloths I will make those sloths do triple pirouettes into grand jetés. I will make it work. It'll be the top rated show of the year. I will say yes.
You know what? That last statement just tells me everything I need to know about how you've matured during this lockdown, my friend. And
I still despise those bloody bastards.
Why?
I
They're
know.
useless. They are useless. They are ugly. They sound for sin. I just can't. They're just a waste of mammal. What are they? Do they even belong here? I'm sure they're aliens.
What are they? They're not marsupials, no.
No.
My favorite videos. One of my favorite videos on the internet, and this is just something that's going to warm Becca's heart. One of my favorite videos on the internet, you guys can find this on YouTube, is this puma who climbs this tree and shame there's this little sloth that's trying to get away and he doesn't.
What the? But also, Terence is that person who sends videos to us of eagles trying to kill goats. And he's like, lol, hilarious.
No, there's something wrong with you.
And if someone tells a story and they're like, oh my God, when I was a child, my dog got abducted by a hawk, he's like,
Actually,
No. On that lovely note, now that we know who you really are as at your core, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We had such a lovely time with you. Thanks to our
thank
lovely.
you for having me. And yes, for all our fabulous kimonos. Woo! Thank you so much, guys. And I'm so proud of this platform you guys have created. Mazel tov, my sweeties. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We had a lovely time.
All right. Bye. 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 And it's ended.